Hey everyone, we got a little update coming next week with the Engraver finally being nerfed. Now we are in the dev build account to show this, that's why we got a million diamonds. But we'll check out those changes. It's been a few months now since HQ27 and the Engraver, and one big change that's happening is before you could just activate the boost for I think 7 powder, it's activated forever, but now it's gonna cost 2 powder for every 12 hours. So if you get one boosted, you only have it for those 12 hours. If you want to extend it, you can go ahead and do that, 12 hours each time, but it's no longer going to be infinite. And if you ever want to deactivate it, no matter how long you have it active, it's just going to erase all the boosts, and then you can choose a different one. Might be a controversial change, especially since it works more like a normal statue, just however much powder you have, that's how much you can afford. But maybe gives people a tougher decision. If they really want that engraving, they gotta spend that powder. And also they're fixing a bug with Sabotage. So before it would just make building health, building damage statues a little bit less. Pretty great in crab and ops. But there was a bug where if you did like the second hit on a base with Sabotage, sometimes even killing the core wouldn't kill every single building. There'd be like one left standing and it counts as a fail. So now that bug is being fixed. Another change is more like a nerf to armor. Before it would just minus 100 damage per shot. It's still gonna do that, but there's a cap on it for 80% damage reduction. Basically what it means is you're not gonna have level 13 rockets and ops do 0 damage. They're still gonna do a little bit, but not as crazy busted like before. We can show a comparison over here. So like this base, we're gonna show duplexity because that's where rockets are mostly busted. Almost 400% building damage. So we have armor on this account, not too much, minus 88 damage per shot. So about level 17 out of 20. And if you tap on a normal rocket, it's 69 minus 78 DPS. So if it's hitting at anything, no matter what, just gonna do no damage. And if you have like a odd rocket level 19, it still does a fair amount, plus 36 damage. Still not nearly as much as without armor, but that's how the current state of things is. And what we just showed over there was kind of like the old version, how things used to be, but now we'll look at the new armor. So right there, up to 80% damage reduction. We'll check out a base. This one here should have around the same building damage. So again, around 400 building damage. When you look at it, level 14 rocket, in the past it said minus 78, and now it's plus 2. So it's basically like a rocket with 0.1% building damage. It's still going to do a little bit, and those people with no troop health are going to suffer a little bit. It's not like you can flare up a bunch of zooks and never shock this rocket. And if we can find a level 19 rocket, so like this one here, it's actually a bit better, I think. Before it was plus like 30 damage, but now it's only plus 4. So you can think of it as a nerf to level 14 rockets. Now it's going from 0 damage to around the same as normal. And maybe a little buff to maxed out rockets. It's still doing a little damage, but again capped out at 80%. As far as how armor goes, now instead of upgrading the actual damage per shot, at level 1 it's going to be 40% damage reduction and then go plus 2% all the way till 80. It's still a pretty strong boost, but not as busted like before. One final change to the Engraver is on leech. It's a pretty big nerf. Normally the max was 25% life leech, but now it's going to be 15%. Maybe they thought it's way too strong of a boost, like half a tribe's worth. So now the max level is only 15%. And as far as the Engraver goes, that's pretty much the main changes. Big one being now it costs powder for only 12 hours, and that rework to armor. Overall, I'd say a sizable nerf, especially now that you can't have infinite boosts. It's gonna cost powder, and unless you have unlimited, you're gonna have to think more about using it. And we have a couple other small changes too. One being when you do any battle, it now shows what engravings you had active. So it works on normal island, operations too. So like here, if you just do a hit, not really doing much, can flare down. But still showing how good armor is. You see the rockets, they're not melting the rifles, but they're also not doing 0 damage. Like I think maybe crab accounts or be with a little more troop health, they'll still be okay hitting bases with lasers or something like that. But accounts with no troop health whatsoever, they might have to think of another boost to open. But in any case, just showing that after you do any type of battle and you click the battle log, it also shows what engraving you had. In this case, shows that we had armor active and also what level we got it. So a cool way when you share replays and just knowing how strong your engraver was. Another small change is in hero abilities, if there are any with critters like Sparky, now you can properly see the health and damage. I think before it only gave the damage boost, but now it's all that. Should be same for critter launcher too. Now when you click on it, you see how much extra health or damage it has. So just more info all around. And then the last, I guess, noticeable change is something called auto fast forward. Whenever you go to settings and gameplay options, now on this bottom right, you have auto fast forward. It just means that if you hit a base with normal time speed, after you kill the HQ, everything just speeds up. You can save, I guess, 2-3 seconds after a hit. So we can show the difference. Hitting a base like this will just art out the HQ. And you can see that's what normal is. You have buildings blowing up. Each one takes like a quarter, half a second. And then if you want to enable auto fast forward, you can try a hit like that. This time if you bar out the HQ, you can see how fast it is. And already with normal time speed, you saw it was just instant. All the buildings blowing up. Might be useful to save time in like some crab stages especially. Or if you don't like using 3x mode, still speed up once the HQ is down. But that's pretty much it for this update. It is a pretty small one, doing some much needed engraver changes. And I'm sure there's going to be mixed opinions, so let me know what you think about the update in the comments. We are going to put the patch notes in the description if you want to check that out. And if you're buying anything in the shop, like diamonds or IT, would appreciate using a creator code. If you want to support this channel, you can use code Stoneheart. But that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.